You can have an opinion about a topic or a text. We've been studying all about weather. I hand the children a folded sheet of paper and they draw the 3 lines on the fold so they have their opinion. We're going to have an opinion about weather. We can say what we think or feel or give advice about weather. We could go into dangerous weather. We could go into how you should dress during weather. These are different opinions or advice that you're giving when you're talking about weather. Notice I'm honing in and I'm getting more detailed. So we have an opinion about weather. We talked about all these different types of things that we've learned about weather, but what do we want to write in our opinion? And the children started talking about dressing for weather and how we learned that you can look outside and look at the weather to figure out the best clothing to wear. Let's use our sentences. Ready? I feel people should look outside before they get dressed. I think people should dress to match the weather. In my opinion, people should not get dressed until they know the weather. That's excellent. We used our different frames. Let's now go up and start with our starter sentence. Let's say, I think. I think what? Who or what is this about? People. So let's just put people here. I think people, and what do we say? Should. And then what are we going to do? We're going to talk about check the weather. Check on the weather. And then I'm just going to put check and dressed. I'm just putting keywords. I don't need to write it all out. Let's go back and let's say the entire sentence. I think people should check the weather before they get dressed. Excellent opinion. Let's go back and put our period. We have our topic sentence. That's our opinion. And in this opinion, what are we doing? We're giving our advice. What do we need next? Back it up, back it up. So let's go and draw 2 lines for our starter words. And let's back up. What are our reasons why they need to check the weather before getting dressed? Well, let's see. If it's really hot, they're going to want to wear just short sleeves and shorts so they don't melt. Okay? So let's draw a picture of short sleeves and shorts so they won't sweat. Let's go to the next one. What if it's raining? So we put rain there, and what do they need to do? They're checking, they see that it rains. So notice I'm just drawing pictures for the ideas. Oh, they'll have an umbrella and they'll have a raincoat so they won't get wet, and rain boots so they won't get wet. So we're drawing our ideas. Let's go back and let's say our sentences. I think people should check the weather before they get dressed. Here's our starter sentence. First, to begin, to start, let's use first. First, if it's hot out, they need to dress in light clothing so they don't sweat. Ooh, let's put the word sweat there. So we have our sentence, I think people should check the weather before they get dressed. First, they should dress in light clothing when it's hot so they don't sweat. Also, next then. Let's put next. Next, they should have an umbrella and raincoat when it's raining so they don't get wet. Ooh, let's put wet. We have our reasons. Let's go to the end. Repeat your advice at the end. I think people should check the weather before they get dressed. Let's go down to the end. Instead of saying I think, I could say in my opinion or I believe. Let's put I believe. I believe the weather will tell you how to dress. Excellent. Let's just put weather tells you what to wear. Let's go back and read the whole thing. I think people should check the weather before they get dressed. First, they should wear light clothing when it's hot out so they don't sweat. Next, they should have an umbrella and raincoat when it rains so they don't get wet. I believe weather tells people what to wear. That's excellent. Punctuation time. Grab your red pen. Let's go back up. I, capital. I think people should check the weather before they get dressed, period. First, put your capital and a comma. They need to dress in light clothing when it's hot so they don't sweat, period. Next, comma, they need umbrellas and coats when it rains so they don't get wet, period. I, capital, believe weather tells people what to wear, period. Orally rehearse this over and over again. What do you do after that? You will listen to the children as they're saying their organizers. If they can say it fluently, I have them write it down. Don't forget your yellow box that they draw on their line paper so they indent. Have them orally rehearse their paper over and over and over, then they write it down. This activity can be done whole group where you're doing all this together, making the same organizer, or students can work in table groups or buddies or finally on their own as the year goes on. So that means as you're teaching children how to write opinions, all the opinions will be similar at the beginning of the year because you're showing them how to do this writing. Once they understand this process, then the students can work as partners or in table groups or on their own, and you will start to see a wide array of opinions in your classroom. As they write, they continue to say their organizer. You don't want kids to be quiet and write. They won't use the organizer. The oral rehearsal doesn't stop after the planning. You read your organizer and then you write, and as you write, you say it. So you would say, I think people should check the weather before they dress. Now when they write, I think people should check the weather before they dress. They say their sentence and they say it as they write. It keeps the fluency and it makes sure that they're listening to what they're writing so it makes sense. They go back to their organizer, repeat it, now say the next sentence. Say it over and over. When you go to write, say it as you write it again. I'm walking around the room making sure my students have these behaviors down, that they keep orally rehearsing and saying their sentences as they write. I'm also checking as they write. Do they have all their words? If not, go back, repeat that part, and now fix it on your paper. It's critical that you're walking around and giving immediate feedback while they're writing. To pull students when they finish and give them feedback is not as effective as catching them as they write and giving them that feedback. I hope that you've enjoyed this stage 4 opinion writing and that it works well for your students.